Retirement can wait because Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs are in extension talks. And today, we're going to give you the latest here on the Chiefs Report. I'm your host, Jay Sanders. And I'm telling you, it seems as though this contract extension will come very, very soon. So make sure you're subscribed. But if you want Andy Reid to be a part of the Kansas City Chiefs for the rest of his career, well, there's one easy way to let me know. Hitting that like button. I'm telling you, the more likes, that quicker the extension will come for Big Red. So go down there and hit that like button. I'm telling you, you're not going to regret it, and it's going to show how much love we have for Big Red right here on the Chiefs Report. Let's get into the actual report coming from Tom Pelissero saying, retirement can wait. Coming off back-to-back Super Bowl wins, the Chiefs and Andy Reid are expected to begin negotiations in the coming weeks on a new contract that NFL sources believe should soon make Reid the highest-paid coach in football. Yes, this is what was supposed to happen, and he deserves to be the highest-paid coach because he's won back-to-back Super Bowls. The only person who could say that, Bill Belichick, back in 03-04, and now Andy Reid has a chance to be the first coach ever to complete a three-peat. But the thing is, he's not just the only thing happening. He's not the only part of this equation. It's not just him getting paid as well. In fact, it's a GM and coach combo, as it seems as though Brett Veach is also getting a contract extension. Tom Pelissero also had this in his article saying, General Manager Brett Veach is also in line for a new deal, replacing the final 2 years on the contracts the duo signed following the 2019 season after the Chiefs win in Super Bowl 54. Now, let's talk about this for a second, because the Chiefs are growing as a franchise, and I think it's because of both Reid and Veach. If we sit here and look at where the Chiefs have come from, since they hired Andy Reid, since they hired Brett Veach, it's skyrocketed. Now, Brett Veach obviously has been with them since 2017. They've kind of gone through this roller coaster together, and they've loved Patrick Mahomes together. Well, now we're seeing those flowers start to grow and grow and grow. They've been able to keep him in Kansas City. They've been able to keep Travis Kelce in Kansas City. They've been able to put a team around those two to make them better and better. They've been able to hire coaches. Coach Spags got his extension. Dave Tube, the special teams coordinator, got his extension. Matt Nagy, who was thought to be a bad hire, guess what? He's worked out this past year and seems as though he's liked by a bunch of the players. Things keep going the right way because of Brett Veach, because of Andy Reid. And it's not just in the coaching staff and the players, in the way this organization is run. It's also in the monetary value of this actual franchise. Now, before they came along, they weren't exactly on the top 50 franchises in American or in international sports. Well, guess what? Top sports franchises in the world right now, 28 through 32 here, Green Bay Packers at $4.6 billion, the Boston Red Sox at $4.5 billion, the Titans at $4.4 billion, kind of surprising to me, but besides the point. Colts at $4.35 billion, and the Kansas City Chiefs at $4.3 billion. They were nowhere close to this before Brett Veach took over, and they've really grown this team to a national logo, an international logo, to be honest. You see the Arrowhead logo, you know what it is, and it's going to bring a lot of positive things, because ultimately, obviously, keeping Brett Veach, keeping Andy Reid is great, but things will come from this by keeping them that you honestly will grow the franchise behind. Now, I want to quickly continue on the GM and coach combo here because the money is important. Now, coach and GM contracts aren't public. This coming from Tom Pelissero. Records like contracts, so tracking them can be tricky. But sources say a half a dozen NFL coaches are believed to be making $15 million or more per year, even after the dismissals of Bill Belichick and Pete Carroll this offseason. And it's fair to say the Chiefs' lack of new deals and raises for Reid and Veach after last year's title was an anomaly in the modern NFL, raising some eyebrows around the league, which is totally true. They have kind of been underpaid, to be quite honest with you. The fact that they had 2 Super Bowls and they didn't get the raise after last year is kind of crazy. I mean, you kind of sit here and think, okay, well, that's really wild. These guys just led your team to Super Bowls and have more than your franchise won prior to them arriving. And they didn't get that. Well, now they are getting 2 back-to-back. They have 3. The Chiefs are going up and up the board on the Lombardi Trophy count. And, well, now it's time to pay them like they should. And it's fair because Andy Reid's resume is unlike any other coach in the National Football League. Now, he's 25 years in as a head coach with both Kansas City and Philadelphia. His record is impeccable, and he's the only coach ever to be a franchise leader in wins in both two franchises, his being with the Eagles and the Chiefs. He's also fourth in NFL history for total wins and raising closer and closer to Don Shula's record, and could potentially be there within the next couple years if he keeps going the way he's going. Now, obviously, that's one side of the docket, but you also have to look at the GM and the way he has constructed this team. And Brett Veach has done a fantastic job since he arrived in Kansas City in 2017. And he's a young guy. I mean, you think about the GMs out there, there's some older ones. I mean, you look at some people, it's crazy. But at the same time, I think that youngness, that ability to go out and kind of have that, I guess, fruitful spirit in some ways has really done well for Brett Veach. 46 years old. When he joined the Chiefs, he was just barely 39 going into 40. So, I mean, this guy has been a young GM in the league for a long time now, and I want to keep him for a while. Why? Well, he has experience unlike his years. When joining the Kansas City Chiefs that young, you're able to kind of grow with the team and honestly, in some ways, mold the team and shape them to how you want them. So now he gets to get his contract. The cap space is increased. Brett Veach, man, he's like a kid in a candy shop right now because he has got a lot of money to work with and a lot of things he could do with it. Now, up next, I am going to tell you why this is important for Kansas City going forward and what it could bring to the team. But before that, got to tell you about our amazing sponsor, Prize Picks. You can get a $100 deposit match by going to prizepicks.com/CLNS and using code CLNS. Now, I'm telling you right now, Prize Picks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America, and it's the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you watch the winnings roll in. Now, testing my skills on Prize Picks this past football season has been amazing, but I'm looking to the hardwood, maybe the diamond. That's right, I got some baseball picks going. I got a 3 guy here. Got Ronald Acuna Jr., 37.5 home runs. Mookie Betts more than 32.5 home runs. And Chris Bryant more than 19.5 home runs. Go put some MLB ones in right now. You also got basketball going on, NHL going on, PGA. There's a bunch of cool stuff. The Masters is coming up in a little over a month right now. Make sure you're putting some Prize Picks on that. Because honestly, if you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that could lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday, where each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types. That's what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Once again, prizepicks.com/CLNS, and using code CLNS, you're going to get that first deposit match of up to $100. Link will be in the comments and the description of this video. Shout out to Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. All right, obviously, Brett Veach and Andy Reid have kind of grown this franchise as a whole. And I know you're sitting here thinking, well, what does that do? What does that mean for the team? Well, in terms of team, it just allows you to continue building up on the money and the way you spent. But honestly, I think it means more for the organization as a whole because you can start to do cool things that aren't exactly just with the team. You can do it with the fans. You can be able to grow your team. We already started that. Sam McDowell had a tweet today, and we're going to have a full press conference on Wednesday as they're going to present renderings for a renovated Arrowhead Stadium. Now, obviously, this is coming in situationally to hopefully get those taxes to potentially grow the stadium. And obviously, this is just the first step of many. But with the Royals moving Kauffman Stadium out of the same vicinity into Kansas City proper, well, guess what? Now there's a chance where if that stadium is taken down, parking raises. The ability to grow the stadium raises. There's a lot of things you can do, and we'll have the latest right here on the Chiefs Report because I'm telling you, anything that's said in that press conference, we're going to keep you covered right here on the Chiefs Report. And honestly, speaking of Brett Veach and Andy Reid, we're going to get to talk to them too. We're not just going to talk to the renderings and all that stuff. They're going to be at the NFL Combine tomorrow talking to the media, and guess what? We got some people there, so we're going to get some interviews that you're only going to be able to see right here on the Chiefs Report. So hit that subscribe button because our video tomorrow, we're going live, by the way. You're not going to want to miss it. Join us at 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to have exclusive interviews with Brett Veach and Andy Reid at the NFL Combine, potentially looking for some draft picks. Speaking of that, who would they be? Well, here are my 5 Combine players to watch that, as of right now, plan to attend the Combine and participate in the tests and drills. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jace, they're all wide receivers. Yeah, because I think we need a wide receiver, and I think that's going to be the guy that we will get in round 1. And honestly, I think the most important pick for the Chiefs is round 1, and there's a lot of guys that could potentially go up or go down, but either way, Keon Coleman, the wide receiver from FSU, Troy Franklin, the Oregon wide receiver, Adonai Mitchell, we've talked about him, Devontez Walker, and Jalen Polk are my guys that I think could be ones the Chiefs could watch. And the top 3, I'm looking at Keon Coleman, Adonai Mitchell, Devontez Walker. These guys, in terms of stats in 2023, played magnificent. Obviously, 11 touchdowns for both Coleman and Mitchell, 7 for Devontez, who only played in 8 games, by the way, because the NCAA is a horrible organization, and you should probably denounce them right now. I'm telling you that. He also almost had 700 yards in 8 games, which is, when you think about it, a little under 70, 80 yards per game. So that's really, really good. But honestly, these 3 guys, wide receivers, whatever, we're going to get a good look of everyone. And obviously, I think wide receivers in the Combine are the one you want to watch the most because you can see the quarterbacks. I know that both Jane Daniels and Caleb Williams aren't going to be there to throw. So no offense, I'm not looking forward to watching J.J. McCarthy throw the ball around. It's just not what I'm looking for the Combine, especially when we're looking for wide receivers. And I think in terms of people who go to the draft or go to the Combine, you're looking for positive things more from the wide receivers. They can show off their speed. They can show off a lot of things. And ultimately, they can increase their draft stock. So who are all the wide receivers that I think the Chiefs could be interested in that are going to the draft? Well, here's a 10 list, guys, of I think that the Chiefs could be interested in. Keon Coleman, as I mentioned, Troy Franklin, Adonai Mitchell, Devontez Walker, Jalen Polk, and the 5 other ones on the right. Xavier Legette, Brenden Rice, the son of Jerry Rice, Brian Thomas Jr., who could fall to the Chiefs. I think that would be awesome. Xavier Worthy, I know I've seen some comments in the past couple shows about potentially getting him. And then Roman Wilson, who could be a good second-round wide receiver option if the Chiefs decide to go a different round in the first one. Now, obviously, these are just the wide receivers, but I think that that's the one that we're all excited to watch. But if there's somebody else, if that's one of those wide receivers, get in the comment section. Name a player you were excited to watch at the NFL Combine because it's a fun time. You get to see kind of the agility and the speed and honestly what it takes to be an NFL athlete. Watching some of these guys do the drills is just wild. Now, they have their pro days coming up later, and that's where we'll see Caleb Williams and Jane Daniels and all those guys. But at the same time, it's good to see the later round guys trying to improve their draft stocks. So get in the comments the name of a player you are excited to watch in the NFL Combine. I'll tell you mine right after this. Here are my 3 guys to watch. And I'll tell you why, but first, Adonai Mitchell, Troy Franklin, and Xavier Legette. They're all 3 wide receivers. Why? Because, again, I'm looking for a wide receiver in that first round if I'm Brett Veach. Why I'm watching these 3? Here's why. Potential to fall back a little bit to the round 1 pick 32. Adonai Mitchell, he could also be there around 1 pick 32. And then Xavier Legette, I think given his size, his speed, his agility, he could very, very well make him a top or into the first round wide receiver pick. Now, I know I've seen some comments about his size and body type being great, and I agree. I think it'd be awesome to see him with the Kansas City Chiefs, but I want to see him in the Combine to make sure that those things aren't going to take away from his agility. Size and strength are great, but as a wide receiver, I also want you to be able to get up and down the field. Troy Franklin, I liked his intangibles and everything I saw from him at Oregon. Want to make sure that that's going to be translated to the NFL with all the drills we'll see. That should be able to do that. And Adonai Mitchell, I want to make sure he's the real deal. We saw him at Georgia. We saw him at UT. He scored a touchdown in every single college football playoff game he's played in. That's 5. 5 touchdowns, 5 games. Pretty dang good for A.D. Mitchell. I think these guys could be the potential choice for the Chiefs at round 1, pick 32. And so that's why these are the ones I'm going to watch because ultimately that's my first choice. If he's dropping, I want him, and he's a choice that could honestly really boost him up in this Combine pair. We saw Anthony Richardson last year. I obviously know he's a quarterback, but that guy was projected to be late first round at best, maybe second round. After the Combine, guy was talking about being the top pick. So that's just the way things go. The Combine is an important stop for a lot of these athletes on the fringe of the first round, maybe mid-second round, trying to boost their draft stock, and we get to be a part of it in some ways. We're going to have interviews from there. We're hopefully going to get to talk to A.D. Mitchell, Troy Franklin, Xavier Legette, and a couple other wide receivers, maybe even Keon Coleman. So make sure you're sticking around. We're going to have exclusive interviews all week long, including Brett Veach and Andy Reid. But that's all we got for you today. Man, I appreciate all of y'all right now. We're doing a lot of amazing stuff here on the Chiefs Report. So hit that subscribe button if you're not with us already. We're putting out content on the daily, sometimes twice a day like today, because you got a video in the morning. Now here's your video in the later afternoon. So hit that subscribe button. You're not going to find better Chiefs coverage than right here on the Chiefs Report. We appreciate you as always. And for now, Chiefs Kingdom, peace out.